This is a quick do's and don'ts video of how to disassemble and reassemble your own turret for your Humvee. The goal is to teach you how to do it. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, share, and if you like it but don't want to do the work yourself, feel free to send it down and I'll be happy to do it for you. We're going to take this 2002 1045 and turn it into this. This is the turret that we're going to get started with. As you can tell, it's missing bolts, rusted parts, chipping paint. We're going to turn it into this. This is from the outside, and this is from the inside. We're going to go ahead and get started with the turret support. We're going to go ahead and scrape off a lot of the old gunk. Grind off what we couldn't scrape off and finish it off with some sanding. Then we're going to move on to the hatch. This is one of the do's. Take a lot of pictures as you're disassembling it. Take it wide and close up. That way you have a point of reference whenever you're ready to go ahead and put it back together. There's a lot of parts, a lot of bolts, different lengths, and it can be very intimidating, but having those pictures will give you a point of reference and a point of comfort that you're doing it right. Otherwise, unfortunately, you might be forced to take it apart, put it back together. And trust me, I'm talking from experience. Once you've got it all taken apart, try to keep all the parts together, otherwise you'll lose it. Go ahead and prime it. This is actually not the finished paint, this is just a primer. In my case, my truck is going to have green interior and tan exterior. So I'm going to have to paint everything that's interior green. Everything that's exterior is going to have to be painted tan. Next thing we're going to do is actually take the roof off. Scrape off the old insulation. If you've ever been in one of these trucks, you know they always leak from the center. It's because there's a small valley that overlaps on one side of the roof to the other side, but it's not filled in, it's not insulated. So go ahead and buy yourself some NP1 from your local Lowe's, fill it in, scrape it off. Then we're going to go ahead and spray on our adhesive, both on the roof and on the insulation. This is one of the don'ts. Do not insulate the entire roof straight across. You actually want to cut out the portions where your turret support's going to sit and your B-pillar is going to sit. Otherwise, you're not going to have snug enough of a fit between your roof and your turret support. These are some of the bolts and fasteners that we chose to use as we're going to go ahead and reassemble it. If you have a 1045 that was demilitarized, you know that your C-pillar is cut off. So we're going to have to go ahead and install a new C-pillar by moving one of the sponsons off, sliding in the C-pillar, getting it ready to seat the turret support. This is an interior shot of where the turret support sits and where the insulation sits. You want to make sure it's nice and clear. Unfortunately, we didn't take a picture earlier, but this is the step where you want to go ahead and assemble your lock rings. You can do it at the end, but it's going to be painful. Once you've got it ready, you want to go ahead and add some of your NP1 across the lip where your turret support and your roof line meet. Then you want to go ahead and buy gasket. I chose to buy shower liner. I've heard people use bike tires. I've heard people buy 1/8 inch gaskets and make it on their own. But essentially you want to cut it around the roof line and across the support. Then you want to take it off, fill it in with more of the NP1, and you want to go ahead and lock it in. You don't want the gasket to go past the bearing. Otherwise, when your turret sits on it, it's going to squish it and your bearing is not going to be able to move. Then you want to go ahead and slowly start to assemble your turret. And essentially, those are some of the do's and don'ts of how to assemble your own turret. Once again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I would especially like to thank Mr. Todd, for without his help, I would not have completed this project.